I know you guys saw Sam LaPorta working out with Jared Goff.
I
right?
know Lucas did.
And not just, by the way, not just Sam LaPorta, Jameson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably one of the three more important pass catchers this year for the Lions. I love that. They're getting work in the offseason. You always hear that saying among guys, champions, the work starts in the offseason, something that Aaron Rodgers hasn't really comprehended last season. But the work starts in the offseason to train with your teammates, to train with your wide receivers. And this is why it's so important for Jameson, too, because last year when he came back, he never got these reps with Jared Goff. He just had to watch with his eyeballs at training camp and throw a football to himself. Like, he didn't get to run routes. He didn't get to do all these things that he's doing now in the summer. But my question is, Sam LaPorta's cooking. He's cooking something. And listen, I love Sam LaPorta. I've made that pretty clear on this show. I think he'll be the best tight end out of this draft class because, again, he has the most upside to me with what he can do, yards after catch, speed, route running. He's essentially like an extension of a wide receiver at tight end. And those guys thrive in the NFL. They do. Because Ben's going to be able to put him in a lot of different mismatches and situations to get him the football in space. So Sam LaPorta to me, Sam, I think the tight end position, as many people know, is the hardest position in the NFL besides quarterback to really learn and comprehend because you have to learn all three phases: pass catching, run blocking, sometimes pass block. I mean, everything. You have to learn everything. And that's something that Sam LaPorta, I think, it might be a little bit of a learning curve, but once he gets over it, he's going to be dangerous. He will be.
I mean, he will be. Lucas, I have a couple of questions for you. After you see him play, are we going to call him Sam Kelsey, George LaPorta, maybe something like that? Tony LaPorta, Sam the Hall of Famer, maybe Shannon LaPorta too. You see what I'm doing? Like a little mix of Travis Kelsey and George Kittle, with just a slight smattering of Tony Gonzalez. Sam Gonzalez. Yeah. Which one is it going to be?
If I had to build Sam LaPorta,
oh jeez, man,
I would say. You have Jason Witten's mindset.
I knew this was coming.
You have George Kittle's build. Kyle Pitts' athleticism.
Oh my God.
Shannon Sharp dogness.
Wait, hold on. What is dogness? Is that
like Shannon Sharp?
Is that tangible?
On the field, you can't. He has it. He has it. He's not going to be talking.
Because Shannon Sharp's my favorite tight end, so I'm trying to relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp had that dog in him. Sam LaPorta does. It's a different type of breed of dog. It's not going to be barking as much, but he's still got that dog. And I think when it comes down to it, he's going to be right up there. Not as good because Travis Kelce's the best route runner as a tight end.
Wait, whoa.
This man's going to be a route runner. He already is. There was a video, I'll try to find of Kittle doing routes yesterday for about like 30 seconds, and I'm watching, I'm like, LaPorta's dusting this dude by this time in his career as far as routes go. I mean, there's not a flaw that LaPorta has in his game, in my opinion. Got him in the second round. I think it was right before fat-ass Michael Mayer. I don't care. I don't care.
All right. So basically what Lucas is alluding to is the Lions picked up the best prospect to ever exist at tight end.
I mean, that's basically what he's saying.
That is, you know what? You got me excited. We might have just drafted the best tight end, the best football player of all time. Hey, doesn't have a single weekness. Has a combination of all these Hall of Fame tight ends.
Check.
Got hands.
Check.
Never drop a pass in his career.
Check.
4.3 speed.
No,
I mean,
no. Let's be real here. We're being real. We're not exaggerating.
Well, hey, these are your words, not mine. All right. Sam LaPorta's that dude. But the question I have, in all seriousness, is what are your expectations, like realistically, for Sam LaPorta this season?
All right, for this season, I have kind of been on record saying that I think the expectations, at least for Sam LaPorta as a rookie, should maybe be tempered a tad. But at the same time, he was picked that high for a reason, and he has the talent, and he is going into a tight end room in which he is clearly going to be better than anybody there. I know the tight end room was serviceable at the end of the season, but you want that number one guy, and that's what the Lions got with Sam LaPorta. At least we hope. Lucas, I think you definitely think so, and that is 100% fair. I expect for Sam LaPorta, you know what? I expect for him to outperform all the other three tight ends just by himself. I don't know how much the tight end is going to be utilized in this offense, but I expect something like his catches to be in the 30s, for him to make a couple of explosive plays where he maybe catches a pass up the middle and streaks for 30 or 40 yards. Maybe has one of those plays kind of like TJ Hawkinson did against Seattle last year. I'm sure you guys remember that one. That was TJ Hawkinson's best game of his career. It wouldn't shock me at all. So I would say I would expect his production to be something like, I don't know, 35 catches for 480 yards and 3 touchdowns or something like that. Because, I mean, remember, at Iowa, that was one of his big weaknesses. He wasn't much of a red zone threat. I get it, Spencer Petras was his quarterback, but he couldn't find the end zone with goggles on. Not necessarily all his fault, but that is, hey, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, I'm gonna let's add some context. I know you did, but the context matters there. Don't be disrespecting the GOAT right now, okay?
Well, okay, I'm not going to call him the GOAT. What I'm saying, though, is that I do expect him to add that element, be that number 1 tight end, add that kind of explosive element. I mean, I always point back to it. That one play that was schemed by Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell to get Brock Wright wide open for that game-winning touchdown, that is very, very intriguing with an athlete like Sam LaPorta, because if he can just make maybe a couple of those plays throughout the season, those, to me, are like a couple 50-yard touchdowns. I know that play was kind of a crazy unicorn type of a play where Brock Wright nobody was within 20 yards of him, but you get what I'm saying. I think that his receptions will be kind of but his yards per catch will be inflated by a couple of big plays, and that's a good thing. I think Sam LaPorta's rookie season will be a success, and you'll see him improve this offense, which is all you really want out of a rookie tight end.
And just to get some of these comments too, because people are chiming in, the Doc in the chat, appreciate you, man, for always supporting the show. He says 35 catches, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's too realistic, though, Doc. That's way too realistic here. I think Lucas was thinking more 70 catches, about 1,000 yards, throwing double-digit touchdowns.
Look, I've said it once, I'll say it again. He's going to be streaky kind of at first, just like most young tight ends are. I think he's going to have about 45 catches, 600 yards, and about 5 touchdowns this year. Next year, following year, bump it up to about 60 catches, maybe 55.
So that's when he gets 1,000 yards?
And then when Hendon Hooker, when Hooker comes to town and Hooker's leading this team, Sam LaPorta, that's when his 1,000-yard seasons start piling up, I think.
Now, and I'm going to read this one too. Corey Berry, shout out to him. He says, Luke is crowning LaPorta while C.J. Stroud won't even get a second contract, laughing face.
That's a fucking bar right there.
No,
that's
a
bar.
Okay. Okay, all right. Booner says, there is a lot going on with this LaPorta Hall of Fame stuff. Well, Booner, you could thank Lucas for starting that. And again, I'm not going to, and if you say a Detroit player, hey, I think this guy will make the Hall of Fame, and we had the whole discussion, reality is there maybe one will. That's how it typically works, maybe 2. LaPorta, I love your confidence in him. Although I think, and I'll keep saying this, tight end, it's hard in the NFL to thrive year one as a tight end in this offense specifically. But the fact that Jared Goff and Sam LaPorta are already working shows that he's getting ahead of it. But JB, what do you think? Sam LaPorta? Are you on the Lucas side of things? Is he going for 1,110 touchdowns, or are you more realistic? What's going on?
1,110 touchdowns. That's a lot. No disrespect to your boy Lucas. I don't think that is going to happen for him, but I do think he will have a very promising season, especially the first 6 games with J-Mo gone. So that's where he really needs to eat and really needs to shine. I think he'll have a very nice rookie career. I kind of like what the doctor said. He's 35 catches, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
That's realistic.
That's realistic, especially for him. His rookie season, you don't want to put too much pressure on him, but season 2, that's when things was really going to start to ramp up. And as Lucas said, you throw Hooker out there with him.
JB knows. JB knows.
No, it's not even because we all acknowledge he's a dog. Like I love LaPorta, and to Sam's point, he's the best tight end day one out of anybody you currently have. Now, doesn't mean that a James Mitchell, a Brock Wright can't be serviceable either. I think LaPorta still will be better, but those guys I think will be involved. Last year they had the most touchdowns combined in Lions history for tight ends. It was all of them. It was Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, and James Mitchell. This year I think a lot of those will be kind of pushed into more one player. I think it'll be LaPorta, and then it'll be a couple for Brock, maybe 1 for James. I think they'll all be spread out, but LaPorta is going to get a fair share of everything because although it is the hardest position to learn, and there is time it takes for a guy like Sam LaPorta to walk into this offense to a team that's ready to make the playoffs and potentially win a playoff game, it's a lot for a guy like a rookie like Sam LaPorta to walk in and make an impact, but he will. Yeah. Because he's far better. There's no way Ben, Dan, and those guys, Jared Goff even, looks at Sam LaPorta and says, all right, he needs a little time. Like the skill set he already has in place, You want that dude out there week 1,
Yeah.
especially no Jamison Williams.
Well, and I'm glad, and it's funny how your opinions kind of change when the draft comes and goes, and what Brad Holmes did, what I thought Brad Holmes was going to do. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy that they at least addressed the position. And I think Sam LaPorta, honestly, he has the upside to be the best tight end in this draft class. I think Michael Mayer's a little bit more pro-ready, but that's neither here nor there because he is with Las Vegas. But I'm glad that he wasn't blinded by what those tight ends did last year with Brock Wright, James Mitchell, and Shane Zylstra, because those are just Jags, just a guys. That's all they are.
I like that.
I didn't make that up, by the way. And if you
now
wanna,
that's a bar. Now that's a bar.
And man, I always have to go to places like this, but I just can't help myself. There is a part of me that is a little bit annoyed that those were the guys that were scoring all the touchdowns last year for the Detroit Lions. I get it. Shane Zylstra had 4, Brock Wright had 4, and James Mitchell had 1. But if you want to talk about the dictionary definition of a receiver goal line touchdown merchant, that was Shane Zylstra. He had 11 catches, 60 yards, 4 touchdowns, including 3 in one game. But that's neither here nor there. I just think that Sam LaPorta, he has to, I think, outperform all of them by himself.
Yeah, he does.
At some point, especially if he wants to reach the expectations that Lucas has for him, you have to clearly separate yourself from the wall of mid that was the Detroit Lions tight ends last year. I mean, Lucas, am I crazy? I mean, I know you don't think I am.
No, I mean, our tight ends, I don't even know if you could call them mid, because honestly, if they're on any other team with
they're less than mid.
with not having an offensive coordinator of Ben Johnson,
Right.
they're struggling to sniff the end zone at least once, in my opinion. So you put an athletic, genetic freak like Sam LaPorta in there, it's going to be stats heaven in 2 or 3 seasons.
Do you think
with 1 season under Ben Johnson.
Do you think Shane Zylstra could get 3 touchdowns in a game for any other NFL team like last season? I don't
Maybe
think so.
like the Texans or something.
But
that'd be it.
Through Davis Mills throwing him 3.
I'm just saying, it'd be some streaky situation where you're like, what the hell happened here? Be like, yeah, that's Houston Texans football, baby. That's the only thing that you'd be thinking. You wouldn't be surprised. You'd be like, yeah.
And I see a lot of love for James Mitchell going around as well. Charles McClain says LaPorta leads tight ends on the Lions with catches and yards, but Mitchell leads with the tight ends in touchdowns. The doc says James Mitchell going to be leading tight end, in my opinion, at least early in the season. And again, I can also see a scenario where James Mitchell takes over that tight end 1 role until Sam LaPorta kind of gets groomed in. But there's no doubt by the end of the season, you'll know who's who. You'll know where LaPorta stands amongst the other tight ends. But to the doc and Charles' point, like I said, tight end day 1, it's a lot. It's a lot. As much as we love LaPorta, and LaPorta might be a Hall of Famer to Lucas, even LaPorta, I don't think could just walk in day 1 and be like, I'm here. Put me in this offense.
You know what? In this tight end room, though, I think so. I think it's very, very similar to what Jack Campbell is going to do for the linebackers. He's going to come in on day 1 and be the best player. I know that we like a lot of James Mitchell's measurables, and he had a couple of plays last year, but I think on day 1, Sam LaPorta has to be better than James Mitchell. You look at him last year, 11 catches, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. What has he really done that's anything special?
I guess,
it's got to be Sam LaPorta.
And I would say it has nothing to do with talent, but more so just comprehending the off. There was times in minicamp where LaPorta's messing up, they're calling him out, he's redoing stuff, and he wants to get better, he wants to learn, but will he learn enough by the start of the season? We shall see.